When someone lives their life, they hope to do something that makes them proud one way or another. Now, pride is a very personal element. It's a very personal achievement. It's a very personal attribute. So what might make me proud might not make you proud, and vice versa, right? So the hater understands this. But in the context of wrestling, both from the perspective of WWE wrestlers as well as the WWE fans, it seems that there is no pride in anything that's happening anymore. It's a bunch of shameless drivel where everyone is just happy to be there, right? It's almost like an addict who sticks a needle in his or her arm and pumps themselves full of heroin, right? There is nothing good happening, and everyone is just there like a bunch of zombies. Let me explain what I mean, cucks, all right? So I'm watching wrestling, right? And last night, Monday Night Raw, been this bitch in Sao Paulo still for the next couple of days. So what happens is, I find myself noticing that nobody's really engaged with the product, right? There are a few moments where people are pretty much conditioned like Pavlov's dogs, more like Pavlov's dong, am I right? To do exactly what they're told to do. For example, when you hear Seth Rollins' music, you do the chants that accompany Seth Rollins' music. It doesn't matter if he's a face or a heel, you're gonna do it because it's something you can do. You see what I'm saying? There's nothing actually happening. You're just doing something that you know you can do, right? It's simple. It's like a retarded person can be like given a shiny object and they look at it and they're like, oh, shiny. That's pretty much what's happening with the fans, but also with the wrestlers, right? Here's the thing. No wrestler nowadays has any capacity really to get themselves over, you know? At the end of the day, if we're being 100% honest, like we are here on the Hater channel, subscribe today, right? Even someone like LA Knight, who the hater likes, if we're being 100% honest, he's a derivative as well. You know what I mean? He's the best we got right now, but it doesn't mean that he's objectively good. In the Attitude Era, LA Knight would occupy like a Val Venus, Godfather type role. He wouldn't be The Rock or Stone Cold. Let's not get it twisted, you know what I mean? He's not The Rock or Stone Cold today. So, you know, let's not get it twisted, like I said. But nevertheless, you have something and someone like LA Knight and the current fans today kind of doing their own thing, right? There's nothing really happening here. LA Knight is the closest one that can kind of engage the audience, but even he really can't. He relies on catchphrases. Now, I know what you're all thinking right now, or at least the majority of you. You're thinking, hey, you know, Stone Cold and The Rock relied on catchphrases. Jericho relied on catchphrases. But I'm here to tell you that you're wrong about that. While they had many catchphrases, The Rock was able to engage the crowd with every promo, right? The Rock was able to make people laugh with every promo. You can think, if you think to yourself, you can think of dozens of promos involving The Rock where all of a sudden you're just laughing, right? You're laughing not because of a catchphrase, but because The Rock said something funny in that moment. You see what I'm saying? Like, for example, a classic promo where The Rock says he's gonna layeth the smacketh down on 5 competitors in the Hell in a Cell, and he starts mimicking all of them. He's like, which means if it's gonna be Stone Cold, I'm gonna listen to Backstreet Boys, and then he like turns his hat backwards. You know what I mean? Like, that's funny, right? No one's saying it's the funniest thing in the world, but that was a funny promo, and people laughed. They reacted to every impression of The Rock. So then, of course, in the end, The Rock says, if you smell what The Rock is cooking, and everyone just kind of like hangs their hat on that. But the point I'm trying to make is The Rock did things that would engage the fans. Stone Cold did that all the time. Now, this is even beyond the fact that they would invent catchphrases time and time again. But listen to, like, in my opinion, some of the best talkers of all time. Bubba Ray Dudley, Christian Cage, JBL, right? They didn't even have any catchphrases. They would just come out there and they would just talk shit and people would be engaged. Whether it's positive or negative is immaterial. The people would be engaged. They would react to Bubba Ray Dudley differently than they would react to Christian. Differently than they would react to JBL. Now, they react not to people, but to cues, right? This was seen very evidently with Becky Lynch, right? Where she was being booed, right? Her husband was being booed. CM Punk was being cheered. And then she just started regurgitating the horseshit cue. She was like, my husband is a visionary. He is a revolutionary. He is. And then the whole crowd says, Seth freaking Rollins. It's like they don't even remember that they hate this guy. Like 2 seconds ago, right? They're just too caught up in the moment. They're too stupid. You know? They're like, oh, it's time for me to say the words that I know come next. I mean, this has gotten out of hand. You know? I understand that people are there to have fun and by God, do it. No one's saying don't do it, right? But just recognize what this says about the product that we're all watching, right? Paul Heyman comes out, and his catchphrase is easily the worst catchphrase of all time. His name is, "My name is Paul Heyman." That's literally his catchphrase. It's like, I want to fucking kick myself in the balls for just saying that right now. His catchphrase, motherfucks, is "My name is Paul Heyman." A guy named Paul Heyman has a catchphrase. I'm going to repeat this so even the dumb kids in the back can understand. He has a catchphrase that says, "My name is Paul Heyman." And people chant along with this. Think about how retarded you have to be to do that. Like, it would be the equivalent of me coming out there and being like, "My name is the hater and I got big balls." And instead of someone, cheering for "I got big balls," they cheer for the fact that I am the hater. What the fuck are you talking about? You see what I'm getting at here? This is a big, massive problem that I think is plaguing wrestling to a level that has never been seen before. The fans are just there doing their own thing. This is just a gathering of retarded people who are there that basically, like, the only thing that brings them there has nothing to do with the wrestling. It's a bunch of people that know what's gonna happen next, right? It's a bunch of people that know that when, I don't know, Michelle McCool comes out, they chant "Undertaker." They're just there trying to impress each other with the knowledge that they have, that everyone who has fucking Wikipedia knows that Michelle McCool is married to The Undertaker, right? Now, these two forces work together to ruin everything completely, right? If the fans are just happy to be there, nobody's there to see anything new or exciting, because every time that a wrestler dares to try to do this, which does happen, like LA Knight he tries to put forward some idea of like, "Oh, I'm gonna try to get this thing over, I'm trying to make one interesting point," or whatever the case may be. Everything falls flat. You can literally watch the opening segment of Raw and you'll see exactly what I mean. People are talking and talking and talking, and the fans do not react. They're too stupid. It's either they're too stupid or the wrestlers are not engaging enough. I happen to think it's a combination of both, maybe even 50-50, right? But that's what's happening. The fans cannot be excited about anything that Seth Rollins says because Seth Rollins doesn't say anything. But they can be excited for when he says, "I am Seth Rollins and I'm a visionary." They'll say those words because they know what to say. Like, these are autists. And I don't mean that in like a disparaging way. I mean that in the colloquial way that we use that sometimes nowadays to mean people that just don't understand social cues. The fans don't understand social cues. It's really that simple. They don't know when to laugh. They don't know when to smile. They don't know anything. The only thing they know is pattern recognition. They know that, like, the song goes, "Whoa." Have you not noticed that now it's like they sing every theme song? Randy Orton went an entire career, right, with very recognizable lyrics, and nobody sang along to it because the people were not retarded. Now he comes out, they sing along to that, and then they say RKO when he says the three most devastating letters. Like, fuck, what does that even mean? The three most devastating letters? Who cares if the letter is devastating? The move is what matters, dumb fuck. And it's these things that nobody picks up on because they're too busy getting ready to say the next thing, right? Nakamura never drew a fucking dime. People just got excited because of his theme song. Daniel Bryan never drew a fucking dime, except for the fact that they pushed him down our throats when he started saying yes a lot. Now he's in AW where he's drawing absolutely zero dimes. This is a problem. This is not normal. It's not normal for someone to cheer only when they're told to cheer, for someone to chant only when they're told to chant, and for someone to react only when they're told to react. We need more things to make things more interesting. It's really that simple. There's no way around it. But the WWE wrestlers have also fallen into this comfort zone, right? And I don't really blame them. Why should Jey Uso do anything? Why should Jey Uso be interesting? All he has to do is create a catchphrase, or not even a catchphrase, like even a moment, right? Where he comes out and does a dance, Joe Hendry, I think, is the epitome of this, but I'm almost more willing to let it go for him because for him it's like kind of tongue-in-cheek, right? Like, it's the whole point of Joe Hendry is like he understands that like nobody gives a shit about anything anymore other than what's catchy. So his entire gimmick is, I'm gonna hinge on this, right? I am like a complete ass. But that kind of wrestler, that kind of entertainment can only draw so much, right? It can only draw so much. It is in some ways, quite ironically, the same thing as like, all this new entertainment that people are worried about, like everything that can be called woke, you know what I mean? All that shit, it's the same thing. It's like there is a ceiling to how much this shit can draw, right? It will never be mainstream. I saw like a little thing. Apparently, Rhea Ripley was mobbed by some fans, probably all neckbeards. I haven't seen the video. I'm not even sure if it's like recent or like a rehash. But like a lot of people were like, well, the wrestlers are basically celebrities now. And I'm like, no, they're fucking not. No, they're fucking not. Don't lie to my face like that, cuck. If Seth Rollins walks in like wherever the fuck he's from in Iowa, if he walks the streets of Davenport, Iowa, I shouldn't even know that, but I do. If he walks the streets there, like, if he goes to Main Street in Davenport, nobody's gonna know who the fuck he is, right? At best, some people might be like, I think he's a wrestler. That's it, nobody's gonna know his name, Seth Rollins, you know? And quite frankly, a lot of people like me who would know who he is would just walk past him. Like, just ask yourself, if you saw Sami Zayn having a coffee, you know, I'll put it to you this way. One of the haters' fans was saying how, like, I mean, to be fair, this was like Carmelo Hayes' father-in-law went to like the store where he works or something, right? And, you know, he interacted with him. But like, think about it. If it was you, right, and you saw Sami Zayn or Carmelo Hayes or Kevin Owens, if you saw them having a coffee, would you even bother them? Like, would you even want to? I wouldn't even give a shit. I'd be like, okay, great. I don't give a fuck if Kevin Owens is here. Where the hell's my coffee? That's what I'd be concerned with. But if this were back in the day, and if it were Hulk Hogan or Stone Cold or Kane or JBL or Eddie Guerrero, I would lose my fucking mind. I mean, hopefully I would be like, you know, tactful enough not to bother them, but I sure as shit would want to. I sure as shit would be like, oh my God, there's that. Like, if it was like Trish Stratus, I'd be like, holy shit, it's Trish Stratus. If I go and I see Roxanne Perez, like, in a coffee shop, I'd be like, I don't give a fuck. Stop holding up the line, motherfucks. Get my coffee pronto, you know? I don't give a rat's ass. I don't want to see her ever again, you know? And that's the problem. Nobody is exciting enough to make this shit happen the correct way. And for better or for worse, that says something about us. That says something about us as wrestling fans, and that says something about the shitty wrestling that we're all forced to watch. And with that being said, it also says one other thing, and that is that all the people that don't agree with the hater, they can kiss the hater's white ass, motherfuckers. I don't give a fuck anymore. This is unacceptable. You know what I mean? We're out here watching garbage, fucking garbage, and people that are actually trying to do their job, like LA Knight, they're not aided by the fans at all. Like, LA Knight tries to say something clever, and everyone's retarded, they don't get it, so they don't react, right? The best example of this is Jey Uso, who like 2 weeks ago, he abandoned this, of course, but 2 weeks ago, Jey Uso tried to get like, whoa, you know, like over, right? So, you know, he did the same hand symbol as yeet, but instead of saying yeet, he said whoa. And like the fans are too dumb. They're like, when Jey Uso raises his hands and puts them down, I say yeet. And he's like, please say whoa. They're like, yeet. He's like, no, motherfucks. Here we say whoa now, right? I'm trying to get this over. But it's like, he doesn't have the charisma to get it over, right? The yeet thing just happened out of nowhere. You know, it happened because the fans were programmed to do it. It's going to take a lot of programming to get them to say whoa. It can happen, but he's going to need help from production, from everybody else, right? Jey Uso didn't get yeet over. It just got over on its own. Jey Uso can never get anything over. Have you seen Jey Uso? This guy has no charisma. You know what I mean? And this is evident by the fact that he said whoa and nobody gave a shit. Meanwhile, Jericho, who does have charisma, can get like, you know, the list of Jericho over, which is fucking stupid, but he got it over, right? And people are like, oh, Jericho's so smart. It's like, he's pretty much mocking the fans for that shit, right? The whole point of getting the list over is like, nobody would be stupid enough to like cheer for this, but people are, right? Jericho isn't really a mark for himself. He's just like a troll, you know? But anyways, neither here nor there. I think I've made my point. Wrestling sucks. WWE sucks. Sao Paulo's pretty great, but that's starting to get on my nerves too. Can't wait till I'm back home in this bitch in the States, motherfuckers. So that being said, take care of yourselves. And just as a nice friendly reminder, you can kiss my white ass once again. Catch this.